After 6 years of care and devotion, Liam's world shatters when a single voicemail reveals his wife's darkest secret, a hidden life of lies, betrayal, and dangerous truths. As he unravels the mystery, he must confront not only the woman he loved but a shadowy conspiracy that threatens everything. How far will he go to uncover the truth, and can love survive the ultimate betrayal? I was rinsing the suds off the windshield when the hose swung left and splashed the porch. A quick mist, nothing serious. Her phone was sitting on the armrest of her wheelchair. She wasn't in it. I dried the screen instinctively. My thumb pressed the side by habit. The lock screen lit up, then a soft chime. Voicemail. It played automatically. "Hey baby, sorry I missed last night. I couldn't get away. You know how he is. Text me when he's asleep." I froze. Water dripped from my elbow to the concrete. The voice kept talking. Casual, familiar, too familiar. The message ended. The silence didn't. I stood in the kitchen watching her. She sat in the chair by the window, blanket over her legs, eyes dull, still. She didn't know I'd heard it. Didn't know I hadn't deleted it. She asked for tea. I made it. She smiled. I smiled back. Inside, something shifted. Not a crack, a clean break. 6 years of care. Lifting her into bed, wiping her mouth, changing her, stroking her hair as she cried through the pain. And now, a voice, a man's voice, saying things no one should say to someone else's wife. She told me once that I was all she had. Now I wondered who he was. I didn't confront her. That would have given it away. Instead, I started watching. Not her. The phone. Texts deleted quickly, but cloud backups don't lie. Hundreds of messages. Sweet names, hidden places, references to things she never told me. I printed them. Each word is like a blade. I checked her calendar. Doctor visits she never attended. Therapy appointments that never happened. I tracked one location. A motel off Route 4. Cheap, discreet, close enough for lies. I waited outside in my car. Watched her arrive in a cab. Watched him open the door. Not a nurse. Not a therapist. Younger. Athletic. The kind of man who wouldn't bathe someone. He'd use them. She smiled when she saw him. No limp. No weakness. She walked. I didn't breathe for a full minute. I made copies of everything. Photos. Messages. Timestamps. A printout of the motel receipt was charged to my name. I placed them all in a plain folder. No labels. No titles. Just evidence. The next morning, I brought her breakfast in bed. She looked tired. Pretended to be weaker than usual. I sat beside her and laid the folder gently on her lap. "Open it," I said. She did. Her hands shook. Page after page. Lie after lie. She didn't speak. Didn't cry. Only looked up and whispered, "It wasn't supposed to be like this." I stared at her for a long time. "You could walk," I said. She looked away. I nodded once. Then I walked out of the room. I didn't scream. Didn't ask why. I filed paperwork instead. Divorce. Fraud. Insurance investigation. I called her family. Sent them copies of her disability records and video from the motel. Told them they could keep her. I was done. I canceled her caregiver benefits, reported the false claims, and watched her lose the home care stipends she'd siphoned under my name. I called him once. Said nothing. Let the silence answer the phone. Then I changed the locks. Left her wheelchair on the porch. She showed up 3 days later on foot. I didn't open the door. She pounded for hours. Screamed. Sobbed. Begged. I watched from the upstairs window. Drank tea. Let her feel what 6 years of betrayal tasted like. Cold and final. People say betrayal is like being stabbed. But they're wrong. It's slower. More methodical. It poisons quietly until one day you don't recognize the life you've been living. She thought I'd break. That I'd scream or beg. But I don't beg. Not anymore. I cleaned the house. Burned the sheets. Deleted her name from every contact list. She wanted freedom. She got it. But freedom with guilt is just another kind of prison. And me, I feel nothing now. And that's how I know I've won. The moral of the story: the deepest betrayal isn't in the act. It's in the years someone lets you love them while they lie to your face. But the most exacting revenge isn't rage. It's letting the truth strip them bare while you walk away without ever raising your voice. The days after I left the folder on her lap were the hardest. Not because I wanted her back or to salvage what was broken. I didn't. It was because I realized how well she'd rehearsed her deception. Every lie was polished and packaged so carefully, it didn't just fool me. She fooled herself, too. She smiles at me, the tender way she leans into my touch, all lies wrapped in a fragile shell that shattered the moment I heard that voicemail. It's strange how people act normally when everything beneath them is crumbling. I watched her move around the house with the slow, careful gait I once believed was true, but now I knew was a performance. She carried herself with the ease of someone without pain, and the phone in her hand was a lifeline to another life I'd never be part of. One night, she fell asleep before me in the living room. Her breathing was steady, peaceful. I wanted to believe the softness was real, that maybe she felt guilty. But that night I caught a message on her phone. Just one word. Forever. I shut the phone and put it away, but the word echoed in my head. Forever. What did that mean? For her? For him? Not for me. I started checking everything I could. Bank accounts, credit card statements, emails. Every proof I could find of a life she hid from me. A secret life she carved out when I wasn't looking, while I was supposed to be the one caring for her. She was good at hiding. The kind of good that cuts deep because you realize you never really knew the person you trusted most. And yet, I didn't hate her. Not exactly. It was more complicated. Like mourning someone alive. Like knowing the woman beside me was a ghost of who I loved. I stopped sleeping well. The shadows in the house grew longer. Every creak, every whisper of the wind made my skin crawl. Then one morning, she was gone. No note. No message. Just an empty wheelchair by the door and a faint smell of perfume I didn't recognize. I called her family. They hadn't heard from her either. That's when the real nightmare began. Because when you think you've been betrayed once, there's always another layer waiting to tear you apart. I sat in the diner booth. The folder lay open between us. Every message, every photograph, every detail painted the betrayal with brutal clarity. His eyes flicked over the pages but never once betrayed surprise or guilt. Instead, there was a calm, almost a challenge. You think you're the only one with secrets, Liam? His voice was low, casual, like we were talking about the weather, not lives torn apart. I swallowed the lump forming in my throat and stared him down. Who are you? What do you want? He smiled again, the kind of smile that made your skin crawl. I'm the consequence. You thought this was about love or lies, but it's about power. Power. The word echoed in my head, twisting everything I thought I knew. I believed I was the caretaker, the victim. But maybe I was just a piece on a chessboard, and the real players were someone else entirely. Why her? I demanded. Because she was useful. Because you were easy to fool. He leaned forward, voice dropping to a whisper. And because this game, it's far bigger than you or me. I wanted to hit him, to rip the truth out of him. But all I could do was sit there, heart pounding, feeling the cold weight of something far darker than betrayal. When I left the diner, the city streets were bathed in the golden glow of late afternoon, but I felt nothing but shadow. The pieces were moving fast now. I had to find her. Not just for me, but to uncover whatever nightmare they had pulled her into. Days bled into nights. I scoured every lead, every hidden account, every whispered rumor. And then I found her, not at a motel or a secret rendezvous, but standing in the middle of a crowded park, looking lost but alive. She saw me and didn't run. For the first time in months, she looked me in the eyes. It's not safe, she said softly. You don't know what's coming. Then tell me, I begged. Tell me everything. She hesitated, then took a shaky breath. I was never supposed to be here. I was just a piece, like you said. But I wanted out. Out of what? I pressed. She looked away, voice cracking. The company. The money. The lies. I was trapped in a lie to keep secrets hidden. When I found someone who saw me, I thought maybe I could be free. The man at the motel. The voice on the voicemail. And now they want to silence me. Fear wrapped around her like a suffocating blanket. But in her eyes, there was something else, a flicker of strength, of hope. I promised her then I wouldn't let them win. We had to fight. Together. The battle wasn't quick. It was dirty, filled with threats and whispered warnings. People I thought I could trust vanished. Calls went unanswered. Shadows lingered in every corner. But we uncovered the truth, a web of corruption and greed reaching into places I never imagined. People who would do anything to protect their empire. In the end, we took the evidence to the authorities. The fallout was massive. Lives ruined. Lies exposed. Justice, imperfect but real, started to take hold. She stood beside me in the courtroom, no longer the fragile woman I'd cared for, but a fighter who had reclaimed her life. We weren't perfect. The scars ran deep. But in the wreckage, we found something new, a bond forged in fire, honest and raw. The past wouldn't let us go completely. Sometimes, in quiet moments, the betrayal whispered back. But we learned that even in darkness, there's a light strong enough to break through. And for the first time in years, I dared to believe in forever.